Jordan Moore, Shaun, Cody, Kessler. Keely Eure joins us now. We're going to do a couple football roundtables, get into it. I think this is just such a massive game coming up this weekend for how it will color the whole season. But you're going to start with a weather report for us? What's the latest coming from Lincoln, Nebraska?
Yes, it's been a weird hyperfixation. I think this is what happens when I get a bye week. My brain is like, well, we need something to focus on. So as of commercial break, the high right now is going to be 48 degrees, but at kickoff, it's going to feel like 44 degrees thanks to a wind chill and a low of 36.
Wow, that was newsworthy, right?
Thanks, guys.
Just tell me, please, that there's
there's
no rain and there's no lightning. That's all I want to know.
No lightning.
As of right now, no thunderstorm watch, but we also said that heading into Purdue, so we will see.
Oh man, I just hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
I was fixated on.
He says it's like he's on the road in the delays.
He's stuck in the studio. He doesn't want to be there any more than we wanted to be stuck in that press box. It does look like it's dry. I think it's raining like right now in Nebraska or tomorrow or something like that. But it does look like the weekend, knock on wood, is supposed to be dry. But Cody, we were talking about it. Dylan Raiola, who's sort of a famous quarterback for Nebraska on and off the field a little bit, had some things to say going into the season where he was saying he wanted the game to be at night. It is. He wanted it to be cold. Sounds like it's going to be. Didn't think the Trojans would like that very much. So how does USC handle all the atmosphere that's going to go into this game?
Yeah, I'm talking quarterback first for Jaden Maiava. The cold never really bothered me. Played in Colorado a couple times. I played in the NFL in some cold weather games. That's not a big factor. Now, you got to make sure you got your hand warmer. Get some of those heat packs in there, too, to keep your hands warm. But when it starts to rain, when it gets windy, those are the factors that come into place for a quarterback. But when it is cold and you're traveling on the road, you got to be able to run the football. And that's going to be something that's important this week. And I mentioned it last week. We were all excited for King Miller. We kind of overlooked the fact that we lost Eli Sanders and Wayman Jordan in the same game. That hurt us against Notre Dame. We've got to have some more production on the ground game. Offensive line has to be better. Jaden Maiava can use his legs this week. But when it comes to those comments by Raiola, I don't mind them. I like it. It's two blue blood programs. It's going to be a great game. I like when the other team starts chirping a little bit. It makes you a little more focused and motivated in this game. So I'm excited, but we've got to be able to go out there and handle business.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a great atmosphere, right? I think they're wearing their black jerseys, which is like a cool Nebraska thing.
The whole thing's a blackout, I think.
Yeah, black defense, black jerseys. You think that's part of a college football lore, but so it should make a great environment. But they're playing for a ton too. I mean, 5-2 as well. Coming off a tough loss, so I'm sure their head's going to be screwed on right, and they've had a tough week of practice, so they're gonna be ready to go. I think this Dylan Raiola-led team will be a tough out on Saturday.
What do you think makes a great road team? We've looked at the different things, whether it's handling the crowd and the ability to still be physical. Can you get your pass rush going on the road? What do you think makes a great road team?
I think it's just handling routine to me. It's because your routine is so spot on when you're home. You know exactly what to do, where you're going to be, and then you switch all that stuff up with travel and all that stuff. That's the only thing when I was a player that really messed with my head. I mean, you get on the field and you're going to play football. You're going to go as hard as you can. Now, if your preparation is different, that's what throws it off. So that's always the tough thing. Growing up in football and maturing as a football player was finding out, okay, my routine is this. No matter where I go, what I do, this is what I'm going to do to get ready for this game. Doesn't matter what bus I'm on, what plane I'm on. I got to do this, and that's what young football players have to figure out, and that's the responsibility the coach is getting for it.
For on the field type situations, I've always said you got to have a great run game and you got to be able to play defense. Those are the most important things on the road. But the other thing, and that's something that hurt us against Notre Dame, is you have to capitalize on momentum. How many times in that game do we come out and have a great drive, we take the lead, get the crowd out of it, and then they go 4 plays and score right back, and you get them right back in it. Then we come back and take the lead again, and then the assuming kick or the following kickoff return, they go for a touchdown, get the crowd right back into it. You have to have that mindset to where if we get a big play, if we get the crowd out of it, we have to capitalize on that and carry on the momentum on our side of the ball.
It's that mental maturity to not get too high, not to get too low. I think you can assume on the road that you're going to get heckled. You're probably not going to get calls that you want, and things aren't going to go your way. Or maybe you have a great drive, but you got to lock back in for special teams. Just stuff like that mental maturity where you just have to be locked in from start to finish.
It's kind of like the Dodgers, guys. The Dodgers first game 1, the crowd was in it the whole game.
Still Dodgers, baby.
The crowd was in it. They were in it the whole game. They let them in the game. Yamamoto shuts the door in game 2. No crowd, silent. A lot easier to win, Jordan.
Well, in baseball, momentum is as good as your next day's starting pitcher. So as long as you have Yamamoto, you're fine. And I think what the USC's version of that, Cody, is their run game. You said it. If you can run the ball, you can control the whole game. For whatever reason, this team has been so good running the ball at home, and it has been much more of a slog on the road. Coach talked about it. Just the Notre Dame game. Just he said it wasn't quite as clean in the run game. What does he mean by that?
Yeah, I think the first thing on the road too that's tough when it comes to that is communication. And you may think, all right, we get up there, we call the play, we go. No, you have to have John Ray Reed echo to the guards have to echo to the tackle, and everyone has to be on the same page. But you're also playing against a good front seven, and we played some tough front sevens on the road so far this year. But the other thing too with that is Jaden Maiava needs to be more of a factor in the run game. And I'm glad you asked Coach Riley about that, Jordan, because I've been saying that on the Victory podcast. Is he's done a great job reading the defensive end, and there's been some times where he could pull it and take off and make some plays with his legs. But where I want to see him take that next step and help the run game when you have some injuries in that room is when the play breaks down, take off and run. Even if it's 4 or 5 yards, just get a positive play, slide, eliminate some of those hits, but pick up some yards and keep the play going. Get some positive yards so it makes second and third down a little bit easier. Just haven't seen that a lot from him this year, and I would like to see him do that a little bit more in this game.
And it's also a backbreaker for defense, man. When a quarterback, you play as well as you can. You have great coverage. You get a pass rush on him, and then he runs out and picks up 4 or 5 yards and picks that first down up. It just as a defense, it's soul crushing, and you feel like, oh man, we're gonna lose this drive for sure. So those are the little things he can do to kind of improve their situation there.
What's the greatest road win of your career?
Oof, man. That's a long question. I don't know. I can't.
That's a short question. Actually, you can just say one thing.
I can't.
Cody, does one stand out to you?
I'm trying to think. I would say at Stanford, my junior year was a great one. That was a low-scoring back-and-forth game that came down to the very end, and then there was a little rivalry there with the games that we played against them.
Big Buck Allen game.
Yeah, that was a big Buck Allen game. Andre Hidari again stepped up. He was the Stanford killer, as they would call him. He would always make those kicks.
With the
J.R. Tavai.
I'm going at Auburn.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Of the season.
Yeah, the game season opener. That was a wild one.
Is there a USC game that stands out in your mind that you covered where you were super impressed that they were able to handle it?
See, no, I can't off the top of my head road game wise. Okay, I had to go to a wedding, but I would have said UW if I was there in 2016.
Yeah, that was a great win.
Yeah,
UW was a great win. 2011 at Oregon.
I was on that was Matt Barkley starting, but I was on the team. Man, what an atmosphere that was too. That was a great game.
That was one where you walked in and silenced a place where they're just like, we don't lose home.
Yeah.
So, all right, we got one more segment of Football Roundtable coming up here. Want the inside scoop on this game and all things Trojans? Be sure to sign up for the 3 Torches presented by Smart and Final. It's a free newsletter. It'll hit your email inbox 3 times a week with game info, player insights, and more. Go to usctrojans.com/3torches and sign up. And Monster Energy is the official energy drink partner of USC. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet. Monster Energy, unleash the beast. More Trojans Live next. Trojans Live is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casino, a proud partner of USC football. Jordan Moore, Shaun, Cody Kessler, Keely Eure. It'll be Halloween night on Friday as we'll be in Lincoln, Nebraska. You got something planned for you got another costume for Friday?
No, this is it. This is all you're going to get, Jordan. So really
get
take
on the
it in.
Team plane and
maybe
a Tin Man situation?
No, I mean this was originally because we were going to the cornfield, so this was the thought behind it. So if I want to wear something, it's going to be this.
Tin Man on a plane, Jordan? That man already struggles in the seat.
It's true. It's going to be uncomfortable either way. Guys, I have had this one circled all season. To me, it is the pivot game of the season, and I feel even stronger about that now that we sit here at 5-2. Trojans win this. November is kind of laid out for them. We can get into that in a little bit, but this just feels like a huge swing game to me, Keely.
It is, for sure. I mean, you almost want the repeat of coming out the first bye, but now on the road. You're an angry team. You want to avenge a loss that you had to sit on for 2 weeks, and you want to you talked about the chatter from Raiola, and yes, that happened in August, but maybe use whatever motivation you can.
They used it for the Michigan game.
Exactly. Yep. And so you use that coming out of the bye and just try and get an impressive win on the road in cold conditions.
Yeah, it was a tough stretch. You play Notre Dame and Michigan back to back. I don't care who you are. That's a tough stretch of games, and you went 1-1. You get a bye week. You produced well, like you said, after the first bye week. So you're looking for that same kind of bounce back. I was able to come out and check out a bye week practice. Want to see how the guys are doing, and hey, this is a motivated team. They know they got a lot to play for. It seems like they got a message to believe in. That we get this is on us now. There's no more looking behind us. This is where we're going to go after. So I think the messaging's right on that. And like Coach said, they got a ton of play for here. It's all on the line now. Basically, the playoffs start now if they really want to get after it. So that's what the season's about now.
Yeah, and I know everyone has that game against Oregon circled. I do too. I'm guilty of that. And then UCLA at the end of the year, and they're playing some better football. But I'm with you, Jordan. I think this game is more important than all those because how you play in this game is going to set the tone for the last four. And on top of that, this is a Big Ten road game against a quality opponent. USC has struggled to win those games. We need to go out there and make a statement and prove that we can dominate in this type of game. Against Michigan at home, that was a statement game. We controlled the trenches. We played well. We ran the football. We had some injuries and still overcame adversity. Now we need to prove that we can go on the road and do the same thing.
Yeah, and you guys have said it. There's still a lot to play for, and it's not even a moral thing, which in college football history, it just would have been. It would have been like, hey, guys, still a lot to play for. But that's not in a 12-team playoff scenario. There is everything to play for. In the way the Big Ten is set up, guys, there's 4 teams with 1 conference loss: Oregon, Iowa, Michigan, and USC. Already beat Michigan. Oregon and Iowa come up in November. So there's still a little bit of like control your own destiny feel to this season too, even though, obviously Ohio State and Indiana are at the top, but they're not on USC's schedule. So they don't really factor into it too much, but it's kind of laid out for them. If they can get through this and they get back home, I feel like we haven't been home for a while. It's a real thing. It's not necessarily you have to sell it too hard to the team that keep going, guys. There's still a lot to play for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just watching football on Saturday. It just felt like, every game meant something to somebody, and all these games are important now. Anybody can beat anybody. There's so much more, I think, diversity in college football. So parity, it's just like the parity has been wild this year. So I think Ohio State maybe has separated a little bit. Other than that, I mean,
Indiana's awfully good.
Yes,
Indiana's playing some good football. I'm a big fan of Cignetti. I wish we were playing either of those teams and who knows, maybe at the end of the year. But I'm with Shaun with how many things that are happening right now around the country. It's unpredictable. All you have to do is control what you can control, and that's the games that are on your schedule. And I truly believe, and I don't want to get too far ahead. I guess we can because we're not on the team.
Yeah.
They're taking it one game at a time. But if we win out, if we take care of business and we win convincingly against the teams that we're supposed to beat, I absolutely believe that 10-2 will be good enough to get into the college football playoff. I don't know if it'll get a home game or anything like that, but
you'll have 10-2's going to get you in.
Yeah, absolutely, we'll get in. I think a 3-loss team this year might even get in either in the Big Ten or the SEC, but it's going to be challenging. But either way, none of that matters if you don't take care of business. And that starts against Nebraska.
The interesting thing, too, is I feel like we haven't flagged it yet, but you have that road game, as we've talked about, but you come back and you play a Friday game against Northwestern. So it's going to be a quick turnaround. So it's going to be a test.
I think the whole thing's going to feel like a sprint starting now because it has been this sort of like game on, bye week off. I mean, it has been kind of a weird stretch for a college football season, but 5 in a row is going to feel fast. I think all of a sudden you're going to be like, here's Oregon, and then once Oregon's over, it's UCLA at home and we're done kind of thing. So it is going to feel fast. And, to me, Cody was talking about some of the things that are sort of a staple that you need to win on the road. I think this specific game, guys, I brought it up a little bit with Coach. We've talked about how good potentially this pass rush can be this season. This feels like the game, Shaun. Man, I'd be watching that film. I know you've watched some film of Raiola. You have to think like, hey, this is a guy that's going to be back there if I can get back there.
Yeah, when they've struggled on offense, Nebraska, he's been under pressure, and he's taken some sacks this year. He can move around a little bit back there, but tends to hold the ball, I think, a little bit.
That's
what
thing.
He wants to do. He's waiting for a play. He wants to make a big play. Young quarterback wants to make a big play, holding on to the ball. I'm sure they wanted to get rid of it, Cody, but sometimes he's trying to make that big play, and that's when teams have got home to him. And that's what this you need to see this defensive line turn one up again, like they did against Michigan, like they did early on in the season when they're creating those sacks.
Yeah, and he's good in the pocket. He's a decent player out of the pocket, but where he's at his best is when he improvises. When he gets outside of the pocket, runs around, buys time. He's not the quickest and most athletic guy in the world, but he understands pocket presence, how to create, with his legs. But it's going to be huge on both parts. We have to cover for 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds in this game. You've got to be sticky in your coverage, but you also have to be disciplined in your rush lanes. You can't just go and try to sell out for the sack right away because he's going to give you multiple opportunities. You got to make sure if you have outside contain, then you're there. If you're that spy player in the middle of the field, you got to react and come downhill. But yeah, it's going to take a full effort from this defense to take care of Raiola.
And something to watch for, it sounds like there was an O-line injury against Northwestern. So they're a little banged up already on offensive line. So we'll see. And they're tied for 128th in the country for sacks allowed. So
people have gotten after after them, and we have seen some real flashes from this group. This would be the week to put it all together, go win a game on the road, and sacks, all that pressure usually leads to turnovers too. So watch out for the guys in the back end maybe being able to take advantage,
especially in those cold night games, Jordan. That's when those turnovers come.
We're going to be ready for the cold night games. I expect the Trojans are going to be just fine as well. We got one more segment to come of Trojans Live. One final segment of Trojans Live. Jordan Moore, Shaun, Cody, Kessler, Keely Eure, bringing it home with you. The over-under is presented by Pechanga Resort Casino, proud partner of USC Athletics. All right, guys. I think this is one that's a little overarching here. Again, 5-game sprint to the finish. Over that stretch, who will have more receiving yards? This is not an over-under. Who will have more receiving yards, Makai Lemon or Jacoby Lane?
Under. Just kidding.
Are you saying over for the last 5 games, like not count? Okay.
Correct. So right now they're both at 0.
So you got to take into account that teams are going to start prioritizing Makai, like we saw against Notre Dame.
That's where the question comes from.
I'm still going to go with Makai Lemon because I've seen him make too many contested catches to where there are 2 guys covering him, and he can still make a play on the football. The other part of that, too, is Jaden Maiava understands how to throw guys open, and him and Makai have really good rapport right now. So I think it's going to be close. I think Jacoby Lane's going to have some games he has to step up, and I'm going with Makai still.
Yeah, I think to me, if I'm looking at it, I'd want him to rotate each one. I want him to break even because you just want to keep those guys.
Yeah.
You keep the defense so off balance when one of them can do it like that. So I'll take Jacoby just to be different.
I'm going to take
Tiebreaker.
Makai just because, like Cody touched on it. I'd asked Jaden about his trust with Makai, and he was like, "I hope it shows. Like we are just on a different level right now." So I would say that. But again, you have that what we saw at Notre Dame. You take away Makai, so we'll see. But I'll say Makai.
I mean, I love that we say take away Makai, and he still had 4 catches for 75 yards. I mean, he's still going to produce.
But Lane did have the bigger game. That is sort of where that comes from. And also your answer you got from Lincoln when you asked about that. You basically like, hey, do you need to force feed Makai? And the answer was kind of no. It was like, no. If they want to throw everyone at him, we'll throw it to Jacoby and to Nook. And you have to think that Nebraska is leading that way. Nebraska has a pretty elite pass defense, number 2 in the Big Ten in pass defense.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. I mean, when you look at Lincoln Riley, they got to get the run game going. I think that's what really gets this offense clicking at a high level. Obviously, always a good pass attack, but when that run game is going and that screen game is going and you're ever coming at every angle at you, that's when this offense is really on the heels.
And we got to keep getting the tight ends going. Lake had that great touchdown down on the opening drive, but other than that, they were pretty quiet in this game. So that will take some of the pressure off of Lane and Lemon if you can get Walker Lyons going, if you can get Lake McCree going, and then get some balls to the running backs out of the backfield.
Number 2 in the nation, Jordan.
Ooh.
Oh, number 2 in the nation.
Yeah.
That's the thing with the Big Ten. We're in a league now where I look sometimes at Big Ten stats, and then you'll be like, oh, they're number 2 in this and number 3 in the nation. Like the league is so good in that regard. You guys are a little bit younger than Shaun and I. Nebraska mean anything to you guys? I mean, has it lost its luster? For people that weren't there for the Tom Osborne era.
To be honest, before we did a preview on them with the Victory podcast last year, I didn't know a whole lot because I grew up. I'm a West Coast kid. I grew up on USC and Oregon and all those schools were starting to become big. And obviously USC's been a blue blood for a long time. But no, Nebraska to me, I didn't know the history of it until we did a preview episode last year. And obviously great tradition there. But no, I'm still a West Coast guy.
Random personal fact about me: my first boyfriend was a huge Nebraska fan. So
you've got all the history.
So
I do.
All right. Well, appreciate everyone. It's USC Nebraska week. Look it up. There is a lot of great history there. Heisman winners, a lot of championships and wins between them. We'll see who wins on Saturday. Trojan Tailgate Show goes live at 2:30. Until then, fight on, everyone.